Hi, I'm Cory, and we're Blood Brothers Racing. Shit. All right, if you haven't watched day one yet, link and card it right here. Go give it a watch if you'd like, or you can just continue watching this one. It's not really in sequence. Just know that this is day 2 of the Door Slammers race. Woke up the next morning knowing that my brother wasn't going to be able to help me. He had to go out of town, and my dad wasn't available. So I asked my beautiful wife, and she showed up with herself and Olivia, and they helped me out throughout the day, and I can't thank them enough. It was awesome for them to help. I was definitely feeling less confident than when I went to bed the night before about how this day was going to go. Not having the people that usually help me, you know, and having my wife, which was a huge help, but you know, she doesn't 100% know exactly what we're going for, and I usually field all my questions with my brother as far as, you know, weather and track temperatures and, you know, everything else that is involved with trying to make sure you're running a certain number. And then my dad, he always does the tire pressures and make sure the car's ready for the next round while I deal with the data and talking with Chris. So having my wife with me, and it was just me and her and Olivia, was gonna be interesting to say the least. Not to say the odds were stacked against me, but they surely wasn't in my favor. I did think about all the times that Debbie pushed me to go to the track and make sure that my truck was ready. So I felt really confident that the motor was gonna be good and everything else. It was mainly about, could I predict the number? Was I good enough to predict the number? And it was tough. Before getting called up to first round, my strategy was twofold, really. You know, try to be conservative and not hold anything in the bank where I could accidentally break out, and to make sure that I set the car up that I wouldn't red light. Generally, when you do that, you're not gonna be as competitive. But because of what we watched last night, it was certainly a race that most people lost themselves. So I thought being the more conservative car may get me a little further in the rounds. I took a look at the weather right before we were supposed to be called up for first round, and the tune-up was calling for 621. Going with my theme and strategy for this, I was gonna probably put a 620 on the door. But right before first round, we had a rainstorm come through, and after the rain cleared and the track was dry, we were ready to go up. And I went ahead and took one last look at the data, and the data was telling me I should run a 24. I decided to go ahead with a 22 on the door in order to give myself a little extra, because the motor was gonna be cold, and just to build in a little bit of wiggle room so I couldn't break out. I got the round win, barely. My competition dialed an 830 and he ran an 829, broke out. I ran a 25, but I dialed that 22. So that made me think, man, I really should probably lean more into this data. I just had luck on my side this round. About 2 hours passed and the weather was looking a little better, but still very similar to the first round. My initial thought was to put a 25. But after looking at the data, it was pointing to a faster pass, maybe a 24 or 23. After debating it over with my wife, she just told me to go with my first instinct, and back up to the right lane we go. All right, this round I got paired up with a nice little S10, a little truck-on-truck crime. He had a 704 on the door, and not knowing much about the truck, I just had to trust that my dial was gonna be correct and just run it out. He ran a 701 and broke out. I ran a 623. Broke out as well, but just not as bad. A little bit of luck on my side once again. This time I took a little bit of a lesson from my instincts. Not that I have been around long enough to have any, but just to lean more into the data. About an hour later, we get called up for round 3, and I took one last look at the data, and it was showing a 23. So a 23 was going on my door, and up to the right lane we go. This time we got paired with a nice little 70s Nova. He had a 668 dial on the door, and I knew the chase was going to be a little bit different than the previous rounds. I would just have to make sure I stayed out ahead and pray that my data was correct. He ran a 667 with a breakout, and I ran a 623. I nailed my dial, which speaks volumes of the data. It was a good thing too, because he killed me on the tree. He had an 033 to my 075. And again, we were graced with a little bit of luck and maybe a little bit of talent. After about 45 minutes, we looked at the weather right before call up, and it was trending slower, 24, 25. And I've learned at this point, I really got to trust the data. It was pointing me in the right direction. After talking with Debbie and kind of feeling changes in the weather, I decided to dial a 23 just to be conservative and make sure I didn't break out. It was a low 24 right before call up, so it could possibly be a 23. I just knew that the data was going to lie to me eventually. At least that's how I felt. So this round I got paired up to a Fox Body Mustang. It's the factory race car that Ohio Valley is probably known for. They're all over the place. So I figured he was there every weekend and he knew the track and he was good. He was a competitor. And if I had to put money on it, I'd probably be 90% of the time right. He had a 711 dial, but I felt like I had one thing going to me. It was about 4 o'clock, and I knew from the previous day that that's when the sun was shining down just a touch on the track on the left lane. So I went up there and got in the right. I can't say for sure that's what gave him a 101 light, but it surely didn't help him. I had a very average .033 and was far ahead of him at the stripe, and I just let out, giving me a 625. This time they announced it was going to go round robin between rounds, meaning I had minimal time to get the truck prepared, fuel. So as soon as we got up to the trailer, I put the charger on the truck and went and did the data. Olivia Debbie got the fans out and started cooling the motor for me. Things were happening so fast, I didn't have enough time to cool the motor down properly so that I would meet temperature at the burnout box. So I knew the truck was gonna slow down. According to the computer, I was gonna run a 24, but I knew I had a heat soak motor this time. So I decided to put a 25 on the door, and if there was any chance to scrub a little bit of ET at the end, I was gonna do it. I decided on a 25 and I locked it in, got in that right lane. For this round, we got paired with another truck again, this time a nicer S10. And there was probably at least 50 years difference between his nice truck and my junk over here. He also had every race car sticker on the side of his truck, you know, high-end parts. So I know he's been around, he's got some money in this, and I know he's gonna be good. I also knew that there's no way I could continue to be lucky. You know, I was gonna have to have some talent here at some point, so I knew it was running out. He dialed a 669, and when the lights drop, his lit up red. I red led too by .008, but I think it was just the anticipation. As soon as I saw his red light, I was excited, knowing I was going to get into the next round. It didn't really matter. He red lit first. I won the round. What was important to me, I had the 25 on the door, and I ran a 25. So my instincts were a little bit correct on this one. It was just a hunch, but the heat soak did slow me down. It can't be stated enough. I've never been past third round, and I've never really been pushed this hard to get the truck turned around either, so I don't know exactly what I'm doing. But we show back up at the trailer, Debbie and Olivia put the fans on, I put the charger, I look at the data, and the weather was about the same. So I went ahead and put another 25 on the door. Not only have I never passed the third round, but now I had the semis. And in the semis, I get a free pass, a bye run to the finals. And most people would say, well, I finally caught a break and got a bye, but I had been cutting breaks all day. And I can't believe that I actually got a bye, and that was awesome. But I needed to stage the truck, part of the rules, and I figured I was gonna make a full pass just to make sure my dial was right. But in the excitement of just getting to the finals, I dropped a glove underneath my seat and I would have to unbuckle to get it. And I just went up there with no gloves just to make a pass, since it was gonna be a single anyway. And in that excitement, when I went and staged the truck, I didn't put it in first. So I took off in second, and I ended up running a 709 or something. So the data was not valuable whatsoever, but I am in the finals. At some point while we were at the trailer after the bye, we were told by someone that this race was gonna be for Wally, and I was not aware that they were giving them out to the bracket racers too. I thought it was just for stock and super stock. So not only did I make it past third round, got into the semis, got a bye, and now I'm in the finals. This final was going to be for a Wally, which is a really important trophy in a lot of people's career, and it would be my first opportunity to ever even race for one. And the pressure was very intense. So I looked at the weather one more time, and it was calling for a 26. My instincts were telling me I needed to put a 27 because this time the motor would be even hotter than the previous runs that I've made. But I decided I was going to put a 26 in the truck just to make sure I did not lose this race by a breakout. So after pulling up behind this beautiful 60s Ford Galaxy, I get out and I talk to the driver, which I would later find out his name was Mark. And the first thing I asked him is, do you want to split the pot? And he said, sure. And with my newfound knowledge, I said, and the winner gets the big prize, the Wally, which to me was the most important of it. I then had to ask him about lane choice to figure out what he wanted to do. And he looked at my truck and saw a 26, and he had a 32 on his door. And at that track, the faster car gets lane choice. So I decided to go with the old trusty right lane. When I said that, he kind of sunk his shoulders down a little bit, and I kind of felt bad because, you know, I felt like he wanted that right lane, but sometimes you got to take the competitive advantages where they are. And unfortunately, I had the faster vehicle, not by much, and he was going to have to suffer in the left lane. After telling Mark I needed about 2 minutes to get in the truck because I'm fat and it's skinny, I was getting in the truck and he was still sitting out of his car because, you know, he doesn't take as long. And I heard the race director ask him, how many Wallies do you have, Mark? And he goes, well, I got one. And I instantly thought to myself, shit, this guy not only has raced for a Wally before, he actually owns one. And I knew that luck wasn't going to get me through this round. I had to be dead on, and I had to be perfect.
Wally! Holy shit! Oh my god! Oh! Holy shit! I cannot believe that just fucking happened.
How? I have no idea. It was really interesting to me that for the first time in the short career of racing that I've had, this is the first time I kind of felt lonely going up to pre-stage. Out of all the friends and family that had helped me through these years, and I felt like I had a little weight on my shoulders because I've gotten so close to this, being so far before, and I felt like I'd really let everybody down if I didn't win this. But pulling up to those staging beams, I realized that nobody could help me, that I just had to do it myself. And that was a really lonely feeling. And as soon as I released the button and I saw we were both off clean and we were coming down the lanes, and I just couldn't catch him. It was just a little bit too far away from me. So I just thought for sure my reaction was terrible, and it caused me to not have enough track to beat him. And right at the mile-an-hour cone, he was still ahead, so I knew I'd made a mistake somewhere. But as soon as we crossed the traps, my light came on. And the amount of emotions and how many of them all at once happened. The best word I can say for it was spiritual. And I hope to be able to feel that again someday and maybe win him a friend to sit next to him on the desk. And I need to thank everybody that has helped me, but it's impossible because there were so many. But just know that I appreciate every one of you, friends and family, and I can't thank you enough. I think it's gonna be good. I don't know.
We just left the finals. And who won? Cory. Go Cory. Go Cory. We're going to get his reaction as he gets out of the truck. This is his first official race. So let's go see what the winner thinks.
Fucking A! Fucking A, man! And I got a bye! I got a bye into the finals.
Wally and the kid.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I didn't mean to.
Oh my god! What? How did I even win?
Won a Wally. A fucking Wally. A Wally.
Who says an index racer can't win a bracket, huh?
How are you feeling right now?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
good.
that was a good race.
Know it.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Oh my god.
It's like a kid on Christmas morning.
Oh my god.
There's a sign.
I'm gonna cry.
Hey!
I'm a good luck charm.
Yes, you are.
Yay.
Hey, can you hold up and show us what you had in your hands?
Yeah.
Let's show our two viewers. Can you explain to us what that is for us that doesn't
I won
know?
a bracket race, and I won a Wally.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh my god, man. I'm so thankful. Oh my god.
And this was his amazing opponent.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, congratulations.
Hey, what was your name? Mark. Ray, this guy right here, he gave me a hell of a fight. Just a little too quick.
Yeah.
I was a little slow, too.
I killed 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, I let her eat. I figured I'm gonna lose going fast. And I only got 26. Oh,
Here's your other stuff.
What is this?
I don't know. Why don't you open it?
Oh, it's a cool little banner.
Yeah, that is cool.
So if you take a pic of both of these, could you like share it on
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I can even text it to you.
We're taking one too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
So if you're just tuning in, Cory just won the whole race from this weekend. What's that? It's the string to his banner.
Got a Wally? What's a Wally?
I think it's like that's a trophy, but
They're like roller?
yeah.
Look back.
Yeah, Liv, I'll move it. Yeah, I told her to move it.
I wanted it.
Yes, you could have.
No, I couldn't have.
All right, sorry, had to back up our golf cart. It was in the winner's circle picture.
Oh my god.
You gotta get the truck in it, oh. I'll just sit here
John
live.
Force ain't got nothing on me. I got one too.
Y'all don't mind being on YouTube, do you?
No.
I got a YouTube channel too, yeah. 59 subscribers strong.
Oh, yeah? I got... Really? I've been doing it forever. Oh, cool, man.
I almost forgot to tell you, you got to like and subscribe. You know, tell me in the comments how silly I am for being so emotional over a trophy. Follow along. Engage. Tell us how we did, how dumb we are. Anything down there. But don't forget, like and subscribe. We appreciate everybody following us and supporting us. Thanks, guys.